Hey, welcome back to the garage, everyone. All right, this weekend we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be doing some body work, if you can believe that. No, I'm not a body man, but I like to pretend I'm one. So this weekend we're going to be working on a 1996 GMC K3500. I believe it's also known as the GMT 400 platform from General Motors. Unfortunately, it's got some rust in the roof. Now, why am I in front of my truck? Well, clearly this is not the one we're going to be working on today. The one we're going to be working on is in fact blue, but not really. It's white. Actually, it's an old ex-Air Force military truck. Some goofball previous owner decided that, hey, you know what, this thing would look fantastic in white. However, this truck that we're going to be working on this weekend is not mine. It is in fact the new proud possession of Dr. Eyeball, who will arrive here in a few hours. And let me show you what we're going to be doing. So we're going to step back here. By the way, my truck has a gooseneck hitch in it, which I've never used. All right, so on Dr. Eyeball's truck, apparently there might have been some, I don't know, maybe some roof sirens or some lights or something. Anyway, so these four ridges right here, and they're rusted, like say from, about here to about there. And there's a few holes here and there. And then to the side of the ridge, you have a lot of deep pitting rust. So what we're gonna have to do is make these pretty large patch panels to include this little ridge here and go ahead and cut that metal out and replace it. Now, I looked online. I didn't really see where anybody was selling roof panels, or I did see one on LMC and a couple of other places, but it said it was in fact discontinued. Now, I suppose you could go to a salvage yard, just cut the whole roof out. We're just not going to do that. We're going to go to the local retail big box, buy some sheet metal, hand hammer it, cut, and weld into place. And the reason why I'm showing you this on my truck is because basically these ridges are the same. They're the same dimensions. It's 1 inch across the top and about 1 7/16 across the bottom and about 1/4 of an inch tall. Of course, all the rust is in the ribs themselves. Surely it couldn't be there, right? It couldn't be in the easy part. So we have to make this little rib. We have to recreate that. And we're going to do it by hand. It's not going to be perfect, but then again, it's the roof. And I'm beginning to suspect that even the factory didn't get it perfect right out of the gate, because I've noticed something here on my roof. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not. You guys see this line right here? What's going on with that, man? This truck has never been painted. This is the original paint for the truck. It looks like that's the way they did it from the factory. I guess they figured nobody would be up here staring at it, closely like I am, but there you go. Thank you, Chevrolet. All right, let's go inside and take a look at what we've done so far. All right, here's what we got. This is the latest one I made. I made this one today, as a matter of fact. And turned out pretty well, I think. So it wasn't too hard. I just picked up some 22 gauge sheet metal from Lowe's and went to town on it. And I got 4 of them. Again, pardon my mess. You know how I am around here. I couldn't get anything done unless I had a huge mess. Hey, look at that, Corvette parts. We'll get to that later. So basically, how did we do it? Or how did I do it? I'm not a body man. I just made this up as I go along. So I went down to Lowe's and picked up a piece of 1/4 inch by 1 inch and about 3 feet long. Sawed it in half, cut holes in it, countersunk the holes to get the screws down in there, screwed it down to this board onto a sawhorse, and basically hammered the daggum thing around it. And sometimes I used a little hammer, sometimes I used a big hammer, sometimes I used the other half of the 1/4 inch bar stock that I bought, and you place this up against the ridge and just wham with the big hammer and get that good crisp line down through there, and then just work at it, Sometimes you got to bend it with your hands, and sometimes you got to tap on it a little longer. You just work with it over and over and over again until you get it right. Some of it, I have this very small metal brake from Harbor Freight. It didn't really work out all that well. It's kind of a piece of junk. And you have this piece of metal that came with it, and you clamp it down. It's just not a proper metal brake. It's just really I don't recommend it. If you're going to use a metal brake, go buy a proper one. So that one's crap. Well, anyway, I'm not a metal worker, and that's the technique I came up with. You can use your own technique. Just, you know what? Just don't be afraid to get out there and try something a little new, right? Just, you know, hammers, steel, you know, it's metal. It's not going to bite you unless you hit your finger with the hammer, of course, but it's metal. If you screw it up, bend it back. Try again, you know, no big deal. Well, anyway, we got 4 patch panels here because we got 4 places on the roof that are rusted, and we have some screw holes about like that, not screw holes, but just holes basically, where I believe some antennas were attached to the truck. So we're going to fill those in as well, but we have some spare sheet metal underneath there. We'll just cut out a simple circle and boom, we'll tack weld it into place. So when you're going to butt weld thin sheet metal like 22 gauge, my shop is an utter disaster. We're going to go with the old reliable Lincoln Electric WeldPack 100, and of course it's a MIG setup. The WeldPack 100 back in the day came so that you could convert it to MIG. It came as a flux core wire feed welder, but it came with the provision to upgrade it to gas, and shortly after I bought this one, that's what I did. Anyway, so we're going to go with about 14 CFM on the gas pressure, which is about right there, and we're going to go with the voltage set at the lowest setting, and we're going to go with 2 to maybe 2 1/4 on our wire speed. And I did some tests already on this thin gauge metal, and I'll show you what I came up with. So I actually already welded this, and then I ground it off, and it worked out really well. That's what it looks like on the back side. But this was a simple butt weld. They were right up against one another. I think when we do it on the truck, we're going to leave a very, very small gap, about 1/16 of an inch. And anyway, I tried to bend this earlier, so I bent it and I bent it back, and it didn't break. So that means my weld was, you know, it was good to go. So feeling pretty confident about that. Now all we need is a pickup truck. So Dr. Eyeball will be here in a few hours. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back before you know it. All right, Dr. Eyeball just pulled up here. He thinks he broke something on his exhaust, and we're trying to figure that out. Oh, by the way, did I mention that it's a 6.5 turbo diesel? How about that? With a brand new alternator, no doubt. I don't know what he thinks he broke, but it sounds pretty good to me. All right, good morning. Here we are. K3500, GMT 400, GMC is the name badge on this one, and this has got the 6.5 liter diesel, and basically she's undergoing a light mechanical restoration. Well, let's call it moderate. Like I said, this truck used to be blue, but some goofball decided that white was better, and they were incorrect. Let's see what we can see. There was a bed liner in here. That's the reason why this is in such good condition. All right, here's the problem. This is just some caulk, and just temporarily, just to cover those holes up until they got over here so we can replace this metal. This is fine. This was just exploratory over here. These 4 places are where we're going to do some metal replacement. So there's a sizable hole here and one here. This the rust here, it's pretty bad. It's very, very badly pitted, and if you messed with this too much, you'd probably break through. So this is the task at hand. In addition to, you have a hole here. I guess that was an antenna, and there's one over there as well. He covered that up with some foam recently. So I guess what we're going to do is go ahead and start our prep work, and we'll get the cutoff wheel out pretty soon. All right, this time we're going to go ahead and do this the proper way, so that the sparks shoot away from me and not ignite my shirt. All right, we've got our straight cuts in now, and we're going to avoid like 90 degrees because that's just not good for welding. And we're going to use the Ingersoll Rand reciprocating air saw that you saw in the Mercedes video. If you haven't seen that, go back and check that out. where we replaced the back panel behind the back glass in the old Mercedes. Very common rust problem back there. So anyway, that project took about 3 months, but it was well worth it. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this cut. All right, we put a new blade on our air saw here. We're going to recommence. There you go. All right, here's what we, don't do that. All right, here's what we got. Got the patch. We held a patch underneath there. Got a Sharpie. Marked the hole. Pretty simple. And up next, we're going to do a cut-off wheel and cut this specific shape out. We'll be right back. All right. There's our panel. And hopefully we got it to fit right. If not, we'll tweak it some more. Yeah, there you go. Yep, hold it up. I'm gonna let you hold it. Man, that looks pretty good, dude. All right. We're gonna make some flanges and we're gonna weld this thing up. So what do you think about the big hole in your truck there, Dr. Eyeball?
I like the hole in my truck. Look.
Yeah.
Perfect for ventilation.
Ow. Yeah, it is. By the way, we took the seat out of the truck. Actually, all the seats are out of the truck. This truck doesn't have any carpet in it. It was a bare bones truck and it just has a vinyl floor. So we're really not hurting anything with all the sparks flying around. Although it's a little dusty in here, but we'll take care of that with a shop vac later. All right, here we go. This is what we got. Here's our patch. All right, now the funny little panels you see welded underneath, okay, that's to increase the surface area of the metal to which we're going to weld, because we don't want any blowouts. So that's just a little something I came up with. Not sure if it's the correct way to do it, but that's the way we're going to do it. So anyway, here we go. Anyway, panel fits. Let's go ahead and put it in place, and we'll go ahead and finish up this first patch. We got 3 more to go. All right, go ahead. All right, let's see if we can get this thing into position here. Push it up a little. Push it up a little bit. Let's see if we can get the whole thing in the hole.
I can't see where it's at.
You don't need to see. Just press on either side. I'm gonna put a tack on the driver's side, about midway. Put pressure on towards the front of the truck, on the driver's side. Yeah, that's good, right there, right there. We're gonna need to do some tweaking, so let me turn this off. Now I gotta cut some off of the truck. We got a really big overlap there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, a little more towards the front of the truck. There you go. All right, a little close-up cell phone camera action here. This is what we got. This is our panel in place, tacked in place. We got flanges underneath to reinforce, give us extra metal to weld to. This little part down here, the line doesn't follow, you know, exactly, but a little tap with that, you know, as we get closer, we get a lot more welds into this thing, and it ridges, and you get a lot more rigid. You can, you know, tweak that a little bit and put some paint on it, and nobody will ever know the difference. So, all right, we're gonna take a little break, then we're gonna go ahead and weld this thing all the way around. All right, we got that patch all welded up, and up next we're gonna go ahead and flap disc this off here and grind that down smooth and get that ready to prime up. It turned out pretty well, I think, for a hand hammered, you know, patch. You know, you got a little foible right there going on, but you know what? That's what they make Bondo for, folks. So anyway, all right, got this next one marked up, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the death wheel out and cut that out next. Oh, and that's where I put my. That's where the ground went for the welding over here. Just some self tappers into the rusted metal. All right, patch number 2 is in place. I just got to clean it up now, and just went ahead and fabricated a ground there so I could get a good connection there. So let me just go ahead and grind this off next, and then I don't know, we're thinking maybe we might not do this one, but this one over here has got a pinhole in it, especially since I tried to use a ground there earlier, so now we have to do it. But this rust over here, it's really bad, so that's got to go. Probably do that one tomorrow. I think we're going to sand this off, put some primer on it, and we're going to call it a day. All right, there you go. We got 2 patches done. I got the welds grounded down, and we did it safely, I might add. We didn't have any problems today. We're going to apply a little bit of high fill primer. Anyway, got to do a little tweaking to get this. We got a little low spot there because it warped a little bit on us. So after we're done with the other sections, we're going to ease it on up with a bottle jack, and we're going to take probably a piece of 3/6 inch bar stock, and we'll kind of put it into a little arch maybe. Use a bottle jack, maybe press up on the roof a little bit, and then we'll tack weld that into place underneath and retain our stock roof line. So there's a little bit of a low spot right there. So all right, so I think we've reached the end of our day, and tomorrow we're going to take care of these spots over here. Make sure your wire's not tangled up in the truck bed. Fiddle with your ground a little bit, just kind of move it around. If it's weak, the ground is not good. Well, where else can we grind? Can we ground to a bolt inside the truck, maybe?
There's all kinds of bolts in there. Oh, that metal is already in there?
Give me a piece of, there's a piece of sheet metal in here somewhere, laying there. Scrap. Give me that. All right, try that. It's fine. Are you about done?
2 more spots I want to do.
All right. You're letting up, and you're letting the mask let you see again, so you can see to go to the next spot. Since you only have 2 to go here, it won't matter. But on the next one, let's say you do a weld, you let up, and the weld pool is still red hot, so it still makes a little light,
Yep.
and you can see it, but the mask is still engaged. You can see just enough to move to where you know the next weld ought to be just by feel, and hit the trigger again and it'll light up again. So you don't have to wait for the mask to lighten up each time. You don't want to do that too long. You have to go someplace else because the sheet metal will warp.
I'm not convinced I got a real good ground.
Oh, I've never MIG welded before. Here, practice for 30 seconds and then go weld on your truck.
Well, that's the way to do it, isn't it? That's what all welders do. Yeah, shit. Lake in here somewhere. Yeah, look how shitty that is, man. Woo, doggy.
Yeah, it's all right though. Be all right.
Hey, it's stuck together.
Quit moving, damn it.
Did I get the magnet out of the way yet?
Yeah, move it out of the way. No, put it back. Just hold what you got right there.
Wait. Get all the edges covered. Okay.
You ain't gotta do nothing.
It fell off my pants leg. Burned a hole in it.
Well, that's funny.
It's looking good though. You're not burning through. It's welded on it.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
There's a big old hole over there. I gotta fill that in. All right, that should do it. Shut her down and grind her down. Prepare to don the glove of welding. By the power of Greystone, turn on the welder. Thank you very much, Dr. Eyeball. You know, nobody under the age of 30 is going to get the reference to the gray skull thing.
Of course not.
All right, grind that off, and I just went around it one more time lightly, so.
Stupid thin-ass sheet metal.
Yeah, you did a good job on that. we're all done. And the air compressor goes off, but we're gonna work through it anyway. So the doctor is busy blowing off the grinding dust and the paint dust from our weekend work here. Look at that, we got a neodymium magnet stuck to the roof of the truck with a bunch of iron filings all over it. So we did 3 patches in all. Here's one here. That's the second one we did, and that was the first one we did. So we got our holes fixed. That was a lot of hard work, I'm not gonna lie. So, and then we'll show you something else we did on the inside in a moment. All right, I know this is gonna look pretty awful, but this is what we came up with. So we think that somebody, clearly they dropped something on this roof of this truck at some point. And there was a pretty sizable dip in it, and it stretched the metal. So we did the best we could to kind of get it back into a stock-ish shape, you might say. Went down to the local big box, picked up some 1/8 inch thick bar stock. I think that's an inch or inch. That's about 1.25 inches wide. And basically, the doc put a large bend in it and made like these really cool braces, and all the way across the truck. And then we got it wedged into shape and stuck in the lip on either side of the truck. And then we basically just JB welded it up there. And of course, you can see the underside of our patches right here. I put flanges on the first 2 to help myself weld, but over here we kind of gave up on that idea and just said, let's just go ahead and butt weld it, it'll be fine. So that's why there's a difference between those 2 and this one right here. But all in all, I think we did a pretty good job. I think the last thing we're going to do here is probably put a little spray foam insulation up here in this gap here and over there. And after that, I'm probably going to have to put some primer on this bare metal, and we'll call it a weekend. All right, there you go. He's all fired up. 6.5 is back in action. Put new headlights in that rascal too. Looks pretty good. And the one thing I like about the 6.5 is it's so quiet. I can barely hear myself think. But let's show you what we did on the inside here. So basically, we got some bar stock and we got it JB welded into place. Got some spray foam in there. There's going to be a headliner in here anyway, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. But it is solid as a rock now. I mean, it is just wow. Just a huge, huge difference. All right, everybody, we took a little bit of a diversion this weekend and we took a break from the Corvette for something a little bit different. Decided to work on an old friend's pickup truck. He recently discovered some rust in the roof and that just won't do. We got him taken care of and I think he's gonna get back home, do a little sanding, do a little Bondo work, and do a little top coating, and I think the roof of that truck will look pretty good when he's done. He might even go back with the original Air Force Blue. That 96 K3500 is an old Air Force pickup truck with the one of the original GM 6.5 diesel engines. But we got him all squared away and he's on his way back home. So next weekend we'll be picking back up on the Corvette series, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy restoring your classic K-Series 4x4.
Stupid thin ass sheet metal.
Yeah, you did a good job on that.